as well as always when we have Enemizer palette swap. So spooky colors today.
Very, very green colors, and a bottle in the first chest is a very nice pickup heading into Kakariko, but we may get to see some Holy Hand before that happens.
Quick map check. Looks like we had the green pendant in the eastern and just regular crystals up at the Para and Desert Palace.
We do indeed, and we see that that sign is not strong enough to kill that thief, and 2 hearts of damage already taken. For Korek, that is. Haiku is actually being very smart here, bringing this fish, I presume this is a fish, back to the merchants. Gonna get quite a lot of money from that. And Caladri is doing the same thing. And Korek, everyone's doing it as Fantalis was checking the lumberjack.
I did not quite see what was on lumberjack there.
No idea. You know, normally the red boomerang isn't all that exciting of an item, but in this version, it is a tool to kill potential Armos.
Very true. Picking up some heart pieces there, very useful in Enemizer mode.
You'll always want to pick up some heart pieces and heart containers early on. The less health you have, the more they matter. Of course, also some additional rupees, which will or very likely be needed. And the thing here is also that because 3 of our players decided to take this fish to get some rupees, they have to go back up into the forest, which may be a bit awkward for them.
Doesn't look like we got anything particularly useful out of the forest though today.
That is true, and wouldn't be surprised if they are hoping to make some sort of routing that thing in later with potential going into the Dark World for Skullwoods or something like that. We do get to see this very early Moon Pearl in the well. The Cuckoo Hut, very dangerous.
Oh, and the bow in the chicken hut. That's a...
It's a very nice find indeed, and does eliminate that potential red boomerang armor situation, which our runners are very happy to have. You know, I really think this seed wants them to go to Eastern.
Well, with them getting the lamp from Sick Kid, I would have to agree with that thought process.
And the lamp and the bow and the moon pearl picked up, so Eastern is a prime location. There is also Escape, the lamp opening up at this point. Likely 4 items, depending on where the small key is located, so may see an early escape.
Yeah.
We're gonna see Korok decide to just take this bomb and go through the racing game. Caladrius is not gonna do that. And Ike also just taking the bomb through, and when you have this many bombs, it's not really a loss, but a few seconds here and there, not the biggest of deals.
Yeah, normally a piece of heart up on Maze Game, not something you'd normally waste the seconds and pick up, but...
Definitely, and well, that's a really awkward flute location, considering they were just in Kakariko.
Ooh, that's
rough, and it puts Kakariko as a high priority location again to go and see where that flute is gonna lead. It's 2 items right now up on Death Mountain, it's not all that much. Gladius has to be very careful here with this Mimic. I was seeing a lot of diversion here with Haiku down in the dam, Korik Sahasra, like Gladius doing escape. Fantalis still here in Kakariko.
Ooh, Can of Samaria and the Power Glove in the back of Swasahawa's closet. That's...
There's a different way to be able to get up to Death Mountain. The gloves are definitely going to be useful later on, one item away from Darkwell. Also saw the hook shot from Uncle. So that's East Darkwell access at this point.
And East Darkworld does have a good amount of items.
Most certainly does. Gladius, a very unfortunate death here. He does have that fairy picked up in the very first chest, and all these thieves just running all over the place.
Ooh, 2 dead rocks and too many Moldorms and many Moldorm Cave.
Giant spikes over in Eastern as Haiku is thinking about something. I've said it's a really dark Eastern Palace.
Very dark.
And with Haiku picking up the flute, heading straight back to Kakariko to activate it, we have all of our 4 players here in different spots. Haiku also gonna bring back the fish.
Looks like silver's in the dam.
Yeah, those were silvers, and Haiku does not have the bow, so what happened there? The bow was in Kakariko. Did he skip that chest? That was the Cuckoo House, right?
That house. Interesting.
He certainly needs to go and take a look at that location. May have been a lack of bombs, perhaps? We don't really know at this point. Gladius here is gonna end this escape with the boots!
Suddenly we have a very fast seed.
And the fire rod in Mini Moldorm Cave, the items are just spread out all over the place. Just so many items in so many different locations this early on. We have boots, flute, moon pearl, one item away from Darkwell, can full clear Eastern Palace, which looks like Korik is gonna go fully through with this and get the green pendant. You have a lot of options despite not having Darkwell access.
Correct, making nice use of the King of Samaria to get through that dark room safely.
That's very nicely done by him. And how many fishes have been brought to this salesman? Like 5? Also, shovel in Eastern? What?
This seed is
being very generous this early on, I'd say.
archetype with probably my favorite sprite you can get at the moment.
It's a pretty fitting sprite. Korek is gonna take a death in that absolute murder room in Eastern Palace. Does have the ferry. Haiku is gonna change sprites twice and maybe now check the island. 20 rupees and Korek again. That room is not a good room. So Korik is gonna abandon the Eastern idea and use these gloves to go check the back of Escape, where there are 3 items.
Ooh.
That was the most unfortunate spike I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So this is not only randomized enemies, of course, but it's also shuffled enemy damage and enemy health on hard. So these enemies are much harder than they should be at this point in the game.
Incorrect, picking up half magic from the side room in the sewers. Extremely useful because we never know if Trinex is required or swords.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a good thing to be able to pick that up, and also getting a full magic refill with it in case you don't have that. And we know this is an early lamp, King of Samaria, and Fire Rod Seed, so there's a lot of magic to go around, and there's no sword, there's no hammer, so... I feel like Heiko stunned every single enemy down there.
Safety strats.
Yeah, and Korik also playing this very safe. Caladri is now in massive pain here, and Korik's just gonna dig up this big heart, and Caladri is just can't get away from that. Okay, so we did also get to see the book in Eastern Palace. So this is clearly a seed that's all over the place, and Desert Palace is fully beatable at this point with our items. So at this point, I'd say there are 2 main areas to go for. Assuming you're just gonna go around and pick up all the items, it's either Desert Palace or taking a trip up to Death Mountain.
In terms of items, I feel like Death Mountain is always the wiser choice. Although if you can full clear a crystal dungeon, full clear a crystal dungeon.
Yeah, it's that very simple logic that often leads to the good stuff. But here's the thing, we don't know what boss is in Desert Palace right now, and it could be Trinex, and they don't have the Ice Rod for that.
Ooh.
I feel like we're gonna see this red screen quite a lot. Fantalis does have a fairy, Caladrius does not. And Ice Arcade with no goodies today. And Haiku is our first player to head up to Death Mountain. And Bonecroc coming up empty. And what's with that guard that Haiku has to deal with here? And Eastern Palace is... And Death Mountain... Wait, did Haiku even get the uncle delivered? Oh, he has the ferry.
I believe he did. I believe it was just 20 bucks from Uncle. And just bombs on pedestal today.
Well, if you know it's a pedestal seed, then you know you have to beat all the dungeons. But knowing it's not a pedestal seed may just make you not want to go into dependent dungeons, which could have some good stuff. We don't know if this book is required or not yet, though. That's an interesting boss there, Fantalis.
Is that supposed to... China?
Helmosaur?
Oh no, Helmosaur, yeah.
Yeah. Huh. And yeah, bombs do damage. That armor shield thing.
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's supposed to be. And Haiku is black? What?
Fantalis making good use of the bombs and silver arrows there to take down something.
Yeah, I think something is a really good way of putting it. It's the green pendant that may be required, which means we may have to watch that ugly thing 3 more times.
Delightful.
And Haiku moving into a different Moldorm cave with lots of chests here on Death Mountain. You know, the blue armor is not the worst thing, but it's not really worthwhile going through a boss for that. Finding the Titansmiths, however, is.
Well, in this mode, getting any sort of mail is always a bonus.
Yeah, I definitely agree that any form of health that you can find is always good. It's just, you're not really willing to go through an entire pendant boss in order to get that. We are seeing Korek here going into desert as Haiku, with the Midsa Moon Pearl, can check a lot of stuff over here now, and has the hookshot for Hookshot Cave as well, and check what the Turtle Rock requires. Well, that should be a boots-locked situation over in desert. And Korek has not picked up the boots. In fact, Caladris is the only one with the boots, having picked them up from Escape, the very last chest at Zelda.
Haiku did pick up a tiny shield as well out of Spiral Cave.
Like, we're gonna see a Dark World map check here from him soon, as he's the first player to enter the Dark World. I've lost count of the number of deaths thus far.
I haven't even bothered keeping track.
Kara can at least go ahead and check a Gena's cave. You know, he's getting a lot of hearts. And with him making this play to escape, if he decides to go through with this, he will find boots. And was that pendant at Ice and Skull Woods and 5-6 at Thieves Town and Swamp?
I completely missed it, to be honest with you. Very quick Turtle Rock pendant check there. Not pendant, medallion check. Have no idea what it was.
We'd like to get an update on that in due time. Wow, wait. Huh? How do you... That's something.
That is the meanest, Ooh.
That's just rude to put that there. Like, why would you even consider that?
Oh no.
So as we're still looking for medallions, and we will need maybe 2 medallions to seed, we do know apparently that Turtle Rock is ether, supposedly. But Heiko has good knowledge, knowing that there is a fairy here. So far, Hookshot Game not turning up with anything new. Yeah, never mind.
Ice Rock.
Yeah, so got the both rods, got Kano Samari, I got Mitts. Needs to find that hammer, and apparently it was ether, so ether as well. That's all the Death Mountain checked. Heiko still does have to make a visit into Escape, as the boots are required for Desert Palace to see, but does have Mitts and can easily get into the Dark World via Kakariko. So Heiko didn't check this location earlier where the bow is, and will be able to pick up the bow. And when he sees this bow, I think he's not gonna feel pretty good.
Now, of interest, this is not actually a swordless seed. We just haven't found the sword 20 minutes in yet. Of course, with silver arrows, early bow, red boomerang.
You know, I always forget that you do need a sword to use a medallion, because it's so uncommon to see that happen. Of course, you always do need at least 2 swords to beat the game, as Master Sword is the minimum for damaging Ganon.
Yep. Looks like we're gonna get our Meyer medallion check here.
That's correct, plays it safe and picks up a potion. Was that Bombos, maybe?
I believe so, but it was so quick, I just...
Well, that means 2 medallions will be looked for, and another fairy in a bottle. You know, these are some very good things to find in your bottles.
as well as a second bottle full of blue goo down there.
There were 2 bottles in the Meyer shed?
Yep.
Well,
Nicest
that's
Meyer
really
shed
good.
I've seen.
Yeah, fairy in a blue potion is really great to find. You got that half magic as well. You can use... You can't do skull boots. You need a sword for that. Man, I always forget about that sword.
Yeah. Well, you can clear out the first part of it. You just can't actually get back to whoever is back there. Whatever is back there.
Yeah, whatever is back there in that spiky mess. Korek will be our first player here to actually maybe, possibly, likely be able to finish Desert Palace, because he's the first person to go there with the boots. Caladrius picked those up earlier. Fentalis will pick them up in a few seconds, setting up a Death Warp here. Do you fancy going into Thieves Town with essentially no melee weapon?
No.
I can't blame you. Oh, never mind. It happened.
Alright, first sword acquired in the brewery.
Yeah, so now you have a melee weapon. Do you fancy going into Thieves Town now?
Slightly more.
Yeah, I can agree with that. So there's a sword necessary for the medallions, there's a sword for the back of Skullwoods if you want to go for that pendant. We don't know if that's needed yet, we have to wait for that. And just in general, just having this guaranteed, simple, easy to use weapon is very nice.
An early small key find in Thieves Town, though. You just gotta hope that there's nothing actually good in that chest downstairs, with no hammer yet.
You're absolutely right. That could be a location that may come back and haunt you. Korek going through desert, Fantalis not too far behind, Caladrius checking out Ice Cave. Neither of these three players have been up on Death Mountain yet and been able to pick up those smiths for the Darkworld access. But it could still be something useful here in desert. Fantalis moving over to the east side. Hikers be very careful again, but does have the fairy and blue potion he picked up at Meyer's shed. That thief is very, very, very mean. What? Is that a Kirby?
I'm pretty sure that's a Kirby.
It's 3 Kirbys, and why are they so happy?
I'm scared.
Yeah. Huh.
Of course, does have a fairy, thankfully.
And the blue potion to be able to refill that magic for potential more fire rod shots. I don't even know anymore.
Chat with Curbstare.
These are some really dangerous Kirbys. That's a sentence I never thought I'd ever say. And this is required, so we will get to see these Kirbys a few more times. Also, it does mean that you do need a fire rod, actually. The lamp is not enough. No, wait, this is Thieves Town, not Desert, so... we'll still get to see this later on. Just a few more spins, and hopefully... trying to save this potion. Korek, this death up here in Death Mountain, did he manage to rescue the uncle?
Nope.
Oh, it actually puts you back there. I didn't know that. That was interesting. Well, it turns out the fire rod at least is required for Thieves Town in some weird magical way, but that is Enemizer.
And what is that Fantalis house up there in Desert Palace? Was that Pug? Looked like a Pug.
I'm not sure what it was, but since he saved and reset, was that a Moldorm? Because he doesn't have sword or hammer to hit it, so... because we don't have his audio right now. If he had his audio and would have heard Moldorm, then we know, yeah, that's a Moldorm. Because I can't think of any other reason why he would just leave like that.
Yeah, chat saying it was a Moldorm, or Pugdorm, as Dora 303 has now coined it.
I guess we'll be killing pugs this seed.
Good thing Andy isn't here.
Yeah, in this seed, no pugs will be spared. We apologize to any pug lovers that are watching this. You may have to look away when we revisit Desert Palace later on. Galadrius is heading towards the Skull Woods area. And why are there so many thieves? Nikos decided to go through with this Sniff Chain here. It's a big frog tour. I think, is that the frog or is it the chest? I don't know. It must be the frog. Did Hypecave just deliver an actually useful item today?
I believe that was a sword upgrade.
Master Sword? That's been acquired. You do know the book is over in Eastern, but... So... Ether Tablet is in Logic. Bumbles does need a mirror. Of course, it's combining all of our players' items because... A little bit all over the place. Haiku still hasn't been over in Desert, and neither has Caladrius to pick up that book. The bottles are very nice today.
Free blue goo. Always a wonderful thing to have.
2 blue potions, 2 fairies. Haiku is sitting on 2 blue potions right now. Has to feel pretty good with that, and 11 hearts on top of that green mail. Now making this trip over to Eastern area.
Mushroom out of Skull Woods.
Flute makes that a very easy check. But you have the cane, so you can go to Batcave for a little glitch.
Yep.
This hammer is the big block right now. Without the hammer or the flippers, you can't actually get to the Palace of Darkness area. Though you can do Aga 1 to get there.
The Aga 1 dream still lives.
And all 5 people are very excited over that possibility. I'm not included. And neither are any of the runners, if I'm gonna make a wild guess. Time for Fentalis to try this murder laser beam cave.
It's I mean, it's not a bad play to try to get over to Pod. But with being able to check Catfish and Pod itself.
Yeah, you can glitch over there using a water walk, if that's what you're going to try and do. But chances are you will likely delay that kind of sequence break until you've exhausted most of your other locations. So, any wild guesses here on what Mophila is going to be here for Caladrius, as Korek takes another unfortunate death?
Considering what everything else we've been given, hopefully nothing terrifying?
Yeah, I guess. But I don't really have my hopes up for that.
Oh,
There's too many thieves in this seed. They are everywhere.
I haven't seen a single chin chomp yet. This makes me sad.
And we've only seen like, what is it, 1 or 2 Lionels, but the thieves are literally everywhere. Calader is really struggling to get through this room properly. Fentalis is into Thieves Town. We'll soon fight the Kirby monster. I guess we can call it the Kirby monster. Nope, no Mothula.
What was it?
Yeah,
Any
no.
guesses?
Calader didn't get to see the Mothula. Obviously, doesn't have a sword to go through with the dungeon.
Right.
You do need a sword to cut down the curtain there in the end. So that's a death and a revisit back in. That's a lot of time invested for nothing.
Unfortunately, we also know that there's a sword just sitting there waiting for pickup in the brewery house.
Indeed, and it's gonna go and pick that up and not be very happy about the current state of things. Korek also doesn't have a sword heading into Skull Woods. Korek just accepts the hug from the thief. Just kill me and use my fairy already. That Helmasaur is the stuff of nightmares. And what is that thing that's floating around it?
I honestly can't tell, but it's clearly supposed to be the tail.
Yeah. And Fantalis, I believe, picked up a death in the Hellway. Appropriate name once again. But Heiko takes down the beast of something. And with that, we'll be able to pick up the blue mail.
Now with Master Sword, I'm wondering if we'll see Haikyuu dip back towards desert.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility for him. We're still looking for a good amount of items, still missing that East Darkworld access by logic via hammer or flippers. A hammer is really what's preventing the players from getting most of their stuff done.
Can't get up to Tower of Hera, no mirror, no hammer. No flippers for Swamper Ice.
Also no mirror for Swamp. Lacking medallion for Meyer.
If Desert doesn't actually give us anything, it might be Ago 1 just to get access over to Pod.
Pod Pyramid Catfish in that case would open up. You can't access Spy Cave without the hammer either, so that's also gone. And everything up on Death Mountain, we know what's there. Because all of our players have been there, you know. So did the seed really intend, just speculating, you to get the myths to go to Hype Cave to get the Master Sword to go do Aga 1?
It's a possibility.
We do have that mushroom delivery that was found in Skullwoods for 2 of our players. I think the smith has been checked, but not the chest. This Thieves Town is an absolute nightmare for Caladrius.
Fentalis giving us a King's Tomb check.
I don't think we've seen this, and I think he could live without that piece of heart sitting on 11 already. Haven't counted the number of items in Desert, so there could still be a boss on Pug Dorm, I think we call it.
Yep, Pugdorm.
Lord and Savior Pug Dorm. That's how just running. Just checking out some one-off locations here. And really bringing the smith everywhere.
Alright, looks like our mushroom will give us a full heart piece.
So Mushroom is gone, Caladrius. Another death in Thieves Town. Oh. And Haiku is gonna go into Desert. Maybe? Or Genius Cave at least. He still hasn't done Escape for the Boot, so he can't clear Desert.
Oh, that's right. Fentalis looks like they set up a fake flipper glitch, but unfortunately the waters today are deadly.
Yeah, that's the problem with Enemizer. When the enemies are randomized, you never quite know what's in the water. So is it just a Pug Dorm right now? The depths of Thieves Town I also don't think has been checked yet. And maybe there is something on whatever Mofula is. And then it's Aga 1?
I think so.
Oh yeah, the chest as well, I believe. But no mirror just makes that really awkward to check.
Looks like Haiku type going down. We'll get those boots.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna go for Aga 1 after this, but I would still think he's gonna go ahead and finish Desert first.
Yeah. And yes, this is a shovel in Pallet Swap, which explains why we have Pug Dorm and whatever in the old was Vista Palace.
I think it was Kraid from Super Metroid, and then we had Kirby Cold Stare thing of complete joy and murder. But Fentalis here is in Skullwoods, has the Master Sword, has the Fire Rod, so something new here perhaps, if he's gonna go all the way. At this point, we're mostly just waiting for something to happen that's gonna change, because this seed has kind of looked the same for a couple of minutes now, just all the players checking what other people have checked and or dying somewhere. So where will Heiko go? He opted for the save and quit, going to Sanctuary, so King's Tome Bonk Rocks most likely. These are some really long Smith tours that our players are taking this little kid on. Get to see Death Mountain and the Ice Rod Cave. Man, what a journey!
They can show him the world.
Too bad the world isn't a very happy place today. It's just filled with thieves that want to hug you.
Have we had a Zora check yet?
No, we haven't. That's a great point. And Sora is in logic, because they have gloves. And Caladrius is trying to fake Flipper now. Let's see if that's gonna work out. Karak is going into Skull Woods. And Fatalis sets up this walk on water glitch to get over to the east side. This is a sequence break at this point. And Heiko heading into the desert with everything equipped.
Caladrius picking up a medallion from Hobo, but I wasn't able to make out which one. At least I thought that was a medallion.
That's really interesting if that turns out to be the case. Let's wait and see Catfish first. Okay, so powder from Catfish, that's something. And apparently it was Ether as the medallion from Hobo. But without the hammer, you still can't get into Turtle Rock.
That is sure is a hidden guard hiding in the water.
As a really sneaky guard there. Sequence breaks are continuing and at least giving some items to our players. There's the other mail upgrade and another Kirby. That's a really dark room for that Kirby. Waterfall of Wishing did have a mail upgrade, but nothing in the second chest. Sora Ledge doesn't have anything, and more Kirbys have been slain. Fantalis is making the big play here into Palace of Darkness. Caladrius will take this trip here to Sora.
Chat asking why did we need another curb stair, and the answer is because Enemizer.
Because Sora has the medallion that doesn't matter. We can write Sora off the list because Sora is Quake, which is not needed. So I don't know, but at this point it does feel like this is an Aga 1C to get to the east side. We still haven't seen the flippers or hammer. Where's Caladrius going? Hasn't he checked everything over here?
Possibly checking Turtle Rock?
Why would you need a hammer for that?
Well, may not know what the medallion is.
Yeah, that looks like a Moldorm to me from Haikuen, but you have no idea where the tail is, so you're just kind of... Well, you can somewhat see it, right? A little bit?
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you putting very good work with spin slashes there.
yeah, the pug is dead, and that was just a compass, so everything in desert was already checked. I don't know, I think this is an Aga 1 seed at this point. I can't think of anything else. So there must be something in Palace of Darkness that leads to progression.
Or
Could be the powder.
Or Pyramid Sad. One of the two.
The pyramid was 20 rupees.
Was it? Or then it catch someone going over there. 4 screens, 2 eyes.
Fantalis went to Catfish, picked up the powder, went to Pyramid, picked up 20 rupees. And so far, just keys in Palace of Darkness.
So many keys.
It's Palace of Darkness. Well, we are still waiting for this Death of Thieves Town check here for these final chests. So I don't think we've had anyone down here. Korik is making that play right now. Caladrius didn't have the hook shot going up here. Well, explains making the trip back up.
Someone asking what's at the pedestal. Pedestal actually was checked fairly early. It was just 3 bombs.
Indeed, the pet dream is dead, but the seed is certainly delivering in other areas at this point. And so far, nothing in Palace of Darkness. The Piece of Heart in the Thieves Town. Oh, that spike for Fantalis. What?
A nicely used bomb jump there to bypass that completely, picking up a shield upgrade from the big chest.
That was really well done. That's just a nightmare to get through that spike. I feel like that describes the seed very well.
Yeah, this... Ooh, and tempered in Dark Maze Room and Pod.
There's the hammer! It's in Thieves Town!
Ooh! Hammer in Thieves Town the whole time.
So it's not an Aga 1 seed at all, so this pod plate may be completely dead. It may end up having nothing.
Well, it did have a sword upgrade, so there's that at least.
Yes, absolutely. That is a crystal, so other players will go there. But this means that Fantalis has to make a trip back here because you do need a hammer to get to the end of this dungeon. That hammer location just changes this entire seed as Korik is gonna kill some more Kirby's. Come on, just kill the Kirby already. There we go. So this hammer, because of the information that we have, Ether was at Hobo, so the logic still requires flippers to do Turtle Rock. The Palace of Darkness boss, whatever that is beatable. You have Pig Cave, Spike Cave, powder from Catfish gives you access to Bat Cave. Is that it?
I believe so.
Well, one of those locations seems to have something else. And wasn't Pig Cave, also more Kirby's. If you like to see Kirby dying, then this is the seed for you. And that's a bush. Yeah, do continue.
I believe Korak the first person to pick up the purple chest, though.
Yeah, that may be the case, actually.
Well, and Zoro access to Hera now and the tablet up there as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yes, we're this far into the seed and we haven't gotten to see what's in Tower of Hera yet. But Korek, I think, is making a really good call here. Just get Palace of Darkness out of the way, have all the items for it. And we're just waiting, not to get grabbed by a hand like Caladris did, but we're just waiting for the other 3 players to go into Thieves Town and get the hammer. So when you think about it by the logic, this was actually a really early Dark World hammer, because you could go and get that right after you went into the Dark World.
Oh yeah. Problem was, with this being a Enemizer seed, it was not very easy to get all the way down there in Thieves Town, though.
And not only that, you could just go and do the boss, kill the Kirby's, and you get the crystal from that, and may not have to go back in and collect all those items in the end. And someone, I can't remember who it was, died at the Hellway on the way there. Some more Kirby's been slain. Fatalis checks this bottle shed, and Caladrius. That's not how. Okay, he does have the fairy, but that's not how the Kirby fight is supposed to go. So Caladrius finishes off Mophila for the 3 bomb reward, which is, well, Mophila and Mophila. You get the idea, the Kirby's. Which is not required. Aiko will be able to get the ether here from Hobo. It's not gonna give him anything right now, you can't put that to use. It does seem like everyone here today is gonna end up finishing Skullwoods despite not being required.
Yeah, an unfortunate play, but with this seed, you're not exactly... Choices are minimal, and you're already there because it's the closest portal to use, so...
It's just boiling down to that, or Thieves Town, as we're seeing from our players, with both Heiko and Collider's being in Thieves Town now. Also, there was a chain shop in Thieves Town, I just noticed.
Yay!
Oh, that's one chain shop, that's one pug. 6 Kirby's, I guess.
Too many Kirby's.
We may get to see a lot more Kirby's in this seed. And all these thieves are everywhere. Heiko and Colliders will get the hammer very soon.
Correct, taking a deliberate death.
There is no mirror, so navigating Palace of Darkness is a bit tricky to do optimally, so decides to take the step warp back to the entrance to faster get to the boss. Also looks like he stunned the math with the small keys and how they're distributed in the seed. Fantalis has continued this Kirby murdering spree. And Haiku will get his hammer in about 10 seconds. Collider is not too far behind. Collider still has to be careful here, down to 3 hearts. Looks like Fantalis is also making the play. All these 3 players just making the same decisions right now.
Very easy dark room today down there in Dark Palace.
No problems for Korek. And it's time for our next mutilated beast, I guess we can say, and stat 6 Argus as Armos.
It sure looks like it. Thankfully, with Silver, it's a very, very quick fight.
It's never been so easy to kill Argus. So Palace of Darkness yielded a sword upgrade. That was it. Haiku is making the trip in there now.
My guess at this point would be a Hera check.
2 items in Hera, you have the Ether Tablet, and after that you can end it with Spike Egg, so that's 4 items up there. I like that idea.
And it is a crystal dungeon as well.
If we can do a Crystal Dungeon, let's just go ahead and do the Crystal Dungeon. Looks like Kork is going to do. And if you look at Caladrius' stream, you will see a Kirby in its not-so-natural habitat.
Encased in a block of ice.
And then clones. Fentalis also getting the hammer very soon. More Kirby's to the death thingamajig. Ether tablet.
And flippers on the tablet.
This is when this seed gets really dumb, because the seed intends for you to get up here and get the flippers so that you can get ether from Hobo so you can go back up and do Turtle Rock.
This does open up Swamp Palace.
No, you still need a mirror for that.
Mirror, right.
It does open up ice, but I'm not so sure they want to go into ice. It is the final pendant dungeon. And 3 of our players had 2 pendants, but we know the pedestal is dead.
Is Swamp our other 5 set custom along with Thieves Town?
Does seem to be the case.
So we know Mirror can't be in Pyramid Fairy.
But Bombos can be there.
That's true.
And those may be the only 2 items that we're looking for right now. The thing with Bombos is that it can be anywhere except inside of Mire.
Bugnet out of the big chest and Hera.
Considering how many deaths we've had, that's not the worst thing to pick up.
Someone already checked Ped chat. Just 3 bombs.
And it's only been 1 player. Who was it that checked it? Do you remember?
I believe Calidrus did.
Oh, alright. And here's a Mothula and a dead Mothula.
That was a Mothula. Actually, that's actually a nice Mothula placement. He won't knock you off, and there's no spikes for him to get backed into.
And just picking up another crystal with that. So we're not gonna see a Spike Cave check. Korak likely hasn't checked what the medallion is for Turtle Rock, unfortunately. Just open and check it and then be able to head back west. Oh, still hasn't been to Hookshot Cave and the murderous laser cannon. As Haiku gets stopped by the Spike of Doom. You know, that's a bomb jump I've never seen before, but it was so good.
With flippers and logic, we should hopefully see Korak go pick up those, well, the one useful medallion and the one non-useful.
Looks like Cork is gonna get the less useful medallion first.
And of course, we'll pick up a mail upgrade from Waterfall.
Of course, the other mail upgrade does require you to finish Eastern Palace. Wait. Cork has Eastern Palace cleared? That can't be right. Because then he should have delivered in the green pendant, right, and gotten the red mail?
Excellent question. we get a item swap sometime soon, we'll be able to take a quick peek at that.
Or perhaps it may just be that he has 3 swords and one is in Palace of Darkness, so he has finished Palace of Darkness, right? He must have. Or I could be wrong. Anyway. There's been too many Kirby's.
We're officially just going to blame everything on the Kirby's.
Yep, blame the Kirby's. I don't even know anymore. I guess we have to wait until Cork opens the map, or opens the menu. And I don't even know where Cork is anymore, do you?
No. No. Ooh, Correct. Opting to dip into Ice Palace here. Now we know Hobo has that in Turtle Rock's clearable at this point.
Yeah, but Cork just hasn't been to Hobo to pick up that medallion, and what's with these thieves?
Thieves and Kirby's, that is the official name of this seed.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Haiku's gonna get the flippers. Fatalis killed them off. That whatever that bomb throwing enemy is called just killed itself on Cork's stream. Is there something in the basement of Hera? I don't think Cork went there. And Galadrius, another death. Or maybe that was a death warp. Well, a basement there is, and yeah, Cork hasn't been here. Because that's our first 4th sword. Fatalis forgetting the switch. Has to flip the switch if you want to go back up, since 14 hearts taking Death Warp is pretty slow.
Yep, pretty much. What is with this hallway, Ice Palace?
You see that certainly delivered on several fronts. Not so sure it's been the way that our players have wanted it to be, though.
Oh look, another thief.
Yay, another thief.
Of course, Sparta were nice. Not a necessity to go all the way through to...
And Fatalis sees the ether. He doesn't have the ether. We have 2 other players that have it. Heiko may just decide that that's the next play to make. But if we're gonna talk about really annoying locations, that Mimic Cave could have something. Well, it must be Bumbles in that case, and we don't know where the mirror is.
Magic Cape out of Ice Palace.
You know, that's Laser Bridge in logic. So, depending on where the King of Berna is, ice may be required for Turtle Rock, by the logic.
Yeah.
But no one is gonna go look for the cave to do Laser Bridge. I go also with the final sword, set up this Death Warp using bombs. Fentalis gets the Ether and didn't seem all that happy about it.
Correct, having issues getting down the stairs.
And Fentalis is back up again. You go up, you pick up the flippers, you go down, you get Ether, and then you go back up again and you go do Turtle Rock.
Someone in chat asking where Hammer was. Hammer was in the chest next to the maiden in Thieves Town.
Essentially it boiled down to that or Aga 1. It turns out it wasn't Aga 1. Right now we're looking for Bombos to enter Mire and the Mirror to do Swamp. But look at this cleanup that Haiku has done here, up to 4 crystals, adding to Turtle Rock. We'll be able to full clear it. It's looking really strong right now. Fentalis is following right in, and that may be all 3 items in ice, and there was nothing there, and I don't think we will get to see what coals there is today. I'm gonna guess more Kirby's.
We may never know.
Perhaps that is for the best. Keys start here in Turtle Rock with the big key and 2 small keys. So, did you see what Haiku just picked up?
I did not.
Well, that was Bombos in Turtle Rock.
Oh boy.
So we are officially just looking for the mirror for Swamp Palace, and that kills the Pyramid Fairy as well. This likely sets Haiku on a pretty straightforward path. You finish Turtle Rock, then you go to Mire, and then you try and do the cleanup to see where that mirror can be. And guarantees a go mode Swamp Palace.
Always delightful to be able to go mode Swamp Palace and not have to check the left side.
Absolutely. As Colliderus has finished off Palace of Darkness. Still looking for a lot of crystals for him. Korik is heading back up to Death Mountain. Will also be making the trip into Turtle Rock. And we will never know what rests in Mimic Cave. Goodbye, Mimic Cave. So an interesting thing with this seed is because this massive search for the hammer just made them check everything, so when they get hammered, they just don't have that many locations to check, and they find the next item, doesn't really open up all that much. So in the end, it becomes a pretty straightforward seed to follow. It's just that long search for the hammer in Thieves Town. Of course, I still don't think that Batcave has been checked, this powder on catfish.
I don't think it has.
Aiko here moving through Laser Bridge, that's 2 chests, nothing so far. One more. Nothing on Laser Bridge, but it's still a Bombos. And perhaps something on whatever Trinex is. I guess more Kirby's.
Oh, well, we're about to find out.
Aiko picking up the full magic before going in. Fatalis not too far behind, and Caladri is also moving up to Turtle Rock. And Tower of Hera as well.
Is that a Think Norm
Yeah. Huh. Okay, so that's a crystal. Moving on with our lives, I say we just ignore what just happened. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. We'll just completely ignore everyone else's screen for like 5 minutes.
Perfect. I agree with you. There was nothing to see inside of Turtle Rock. Haiku's just gonna leave.
Haikyuu probably going straight to Misery Mire at this point.
It's the next crystal in order. 2 items. Hopefully, the mirror is there for him. But looks like he may have some other plans first.
The pedestal chat?
Just to get that out of the way. He has 2 pendants, so just checking this just to see if it's gonna be a Mire Ice Palace play. There are some tricky rooms in Mire because of how enemies are located, especially in the first 2 rooms. Fatalis has picked up this crystal in Turtle Rock and is now leaving.
Fantalis did not finish Desert Palace from the looks of it, so we'll be heading that way while Haikyuu moves into Mire.
It's those boots in Escape that haunted some of our players in the early game, just forcing these double dips into Desert Palace. Oh, look at that chain jump in the first room. Okay, this room doesn't look too bad, just a lot of bombs. I just realized that Mothula's like ranged beam thing is also the thinking phase.
Oh.
So Haikyuu catches the fairy. Paladus gets the crystal. Korik will soon finish off Turtle Rock.
The only thing we're missing for Go Mode is the mirror at this point, isn't it?
It is indeed just a mirror. They needed to get into Swamp, then they have everything they need. I mean, technically we're looking for an invulnerability item for Laser Bridge, but who cares about that? Actually, we have found... Korik has the cape. Where was that again?
Ice Palace.
Oh yeah, so Ice Palace was needed after all.
Can Palace making quick work of Pugdorm.
The Pugs, the Kirbys, and the Thinking Faces. Korik has some difficulties getting the right angle there on that enemy. It's a pretty good straightforward mire here. Haiku is just going to the end. Fentalis, of course, did that early sequence break into Palace of Darkness. Got everything there, but needs to return to kill the boss. So, what will Vitreous be today? You have any guesses?
We've seen a Moldorm, we've seen a Helmisar, we've seen a Vidi, we've seen an Armos. We haven't seen any sort of Argus proper.
Yeah, we could have an Argus. Oh, Caladrius missed that fire rod shot. Still think he'll be able to make it. Meanwhile, we've seen that before.
Oh, yeah, we saw this.
I mean, it's whatever.
Not half as horrifying as Thieves Town is.
Also, still looking for a potential Trinex. Of course, we will not see what's in Ice Palace, because all 3 items are available before the boss, and we know the pedestal is dead. Oh, look at those chain shops in Turtle Rock, I just noticed in Caladrius screen.
Very good dodge, though.
Indeed, and Haiku must have had some really good locations for those early keys as it's going back in to look for items. And Korik, where are you going? You've done Thieves Town, are you gonna do...
Possibly, Bumper Cave, check.
Yeah. Have we seen Bumper Cave? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Well, if the mirror is here, it's not.
If it had been, that meant Ice Palace would have had to be done by all of our players in order to get the cape, but...
Ice Palace only required if you care about logical progression in Laser Bridge.
And none of our players care about that.
Nope. So I think there's an item in the cutscene chest over in Mr. Meyer. Cork is also making the trip in there right now. No cutscene chest, just that left side chest. So, we have a hunt here for the mirror.
What all do we have open at this point, though?
Spy Cave?
Spike Cave was checked. It was a piece of heart, I believe. Correct,
Oh.
just did it.
Okay, I completely missed
Did
that.
anyone actually check Mimic Cave?
I mean, Mimic Cave requires the mirror, so that's not possible.
Oh, that's right. I'm not awake yet today.
It also can't be K45, and it can't be Graveyard Edge. Bat Cave, of course, has been available ever since that catfish check, and is a sequence break for those who don't have it, and looks like that's where Haiku is going. What else is there except for the bat? The shovel, I think, has been checked, and that's a really weird pokey for Caladrius. It's not in a dungeon. Everything in the dungeons have been checked, so it's an overworld location. And I do feel like this purple chest has also been checked. Ether tablet has been checked.
Yeah, that's gotta be Batcave at this point.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else, and that means catfish required.
Where is Heku going?
He may not be truly sure himself. So powder is at catfish. And if you have the mushroom, you can sequence break it. The mushroom was... where? He doesn't have it. The other players do.
Mushroom was in one of the dungeons, but a mushroom was just a full piece of heart.
Yeah, it's just that you can use the mushroom for the sequence break.
That's true.
Well, Haiku's going into ice. Or maybe he does have the mushroom. This has been a very interesting race because our players have been in very different locations for significant portions of it. Up until they all kind of collided at the hammer in Thieves Town. Like, it's not been in ice, and we'll find that there is nothing in here. Is this just the Batcave waiting group right now?
Sure looks like it.
Tiger is trying to dodge more thieves.
Sure, my turned in. It was a full piece of heart. Chat.
Yep, I do believe we've seen one mushroom be delivered, at least. Haiku utilizing these medallions very well together with the half magic.
Answer some question in chat. Icefront Cave and the Agano were both checked. Ted was just 3 bombs.
An Ether Tablet and Spike Cave and the Smith Chain. Everything inside of all of the dungeons. Catfish having powder for Batcave. Is, as far as I can tell at least, the only thing that's missing. Pyramid was 20 rupees. They can't access Pyramid Fairy because they need Swamp for that, so it can't be in there.
Looks like Fantalis possibly going up to check. Pedestal.
This just wanting to know whether or not how much do I need to do in a potential ice visit. Korek is checking the pyramid. Fantalis is flying to the center. Gladys is making the progress through Mire. Fantalis not quite sure where to go, but he's headed back to Kakariko. He's headed south and east.
Ooh. We've got our bat chat.
To our knowledge, this is the only location left, so this spot must have the mirror. And if that is the case, that will put Fantalis in go mode with only Swamp left.
Yep, there's our mirror.
The math checks out, Fantalis is in go mode, and he is going to rush to Swamp Palace. So Catfish required in this seed.
Correct at Catfish, picking up that powder.
And this is likely going to be a very quick dungeon since it is go mode Swamp. Could still be some really bothersome enemies trying to get in your way, but you have half magic and all medallions to quickly clear them, or maybe not quickly, but reliably clear them. Meanwhile, we do also see Korek going for this. But he still has to return to Desert to finish off that dungeon, but he will also be in go mode. And at this point, our players have basically everything. We know where the mail upgrades are, we know where all the swords are, we know where silver is, or it's already been picked up, half magic, all bottles. There really is no additional help that can benefit our players in this situation.
Thankfully, with the small key always in the pot in the next room, Swamp very quick to get through.
Indeed, and Heiko is done with ice, knows that it is not there. You think we'll get to see more Kirby's?
I hope not.
Is it because you find them nightmarish, or because you don't want Kirby to die?
I just think we've had enough Kirby's today for boss palettes.
I can never kill too many Kirbys. Fatalis even opting to skip this waterfall chest there, which takes like 2 seconds. He has absolutely everything. And Caladrius here picking up crystal number 5. Haiku checking Lumberjack. It's not there.
Is that Argus with the, is that Link's head with a whole bunch of shields around it?
There are no arms! Link doesn't have any arms!
I
I want my Kirby back.
take it back. Kirby's fine.
I guess we found the mirror shield? It was stolen and put in swamp and cloned like 20 times? Well, that is the 7th and final crystal for Fatalis. He will now be making his way into Ganon's tower.
Looks like we've got people already starting to call out numbers here in chat.
Well, you know, the big key can be in one of 22 different item locations. We don't know where.
What's your pick for today?
You know, I always want Bob to die, so you just put it on the torch.
Fair enough. That could either be number 1 or number 3, depending on right or left.
Yeah. And your pick of the day is?
We'll go with 6. Which would be Staphylos room or the Firebar room, if I'm doing my math right.
I believe your math is correct. Haiku is not happy to see that powder from Catfish.
Do not blame him.
Caladra is now moving into Eastern and finding that book. If that's a trip up to Ether Tablet, that's not very good. Actually, he needs to go there because... Oh, he doesn't have the flippers yet from that tablet. Oh no. So technically, by the logic, both Eastern Palace and Ice Palace will require 2 pendant onions.
Skull, of course, being the one dungeon everyone seemed to clear that was never required to be touched today.
But because of where Skullwoods is located, you always just end up making the check. Especially in this seed where the hammer was in Thieves Town. Fatalis picks up the small key and the map, and then heads on over to left. As I'm very disappointed, but there's a chain jump for you.
Yay!
Uncertain what caused Caladrius' death, but we do know that Haiku is in go mode. I'm gonna guess Caladrius died in the death room where you need a small key.
Probably.
Still looking for that big key in Ganon's tower. Haikyuu heading into Swamp. Korek finished Swamp just now, will head to Ganon's tower. Good thing you can just use the invulnerability there to get through that room for Fantalis.
The gauntlet is always interesting in a Enemizer mode to see.
Some rooms just have drastically different difficulty in this mode. Gorak decides to not want to deal with the enemies and is just taking this lower Dark World portal. The random room did not turn up with the goodies. You know, if this is right side, Gorak could potentially gain some time here on Fantalis.
Quite possibly. And of course, with boots, the Dark Maze and G-Tower are very quick.
Just dash yourself across. Well, it looks like we will not get to see what boss that was. So big key just above Ice Armos. And so we will not get to see what Kirby variation, I guess, Ice Armos was. Fantalis will now proceed through the gauntlet. Cork is going right side, and if he decides to go full right and not go back after the 4 chests and the small key following, it will be a bit faster than Fantalis' route. Also, more thieves. Of course, more thieves.
More seeds everywhere.
Oh, remember this boss that Caladrius is fighting right now? This boss that wasn't required?
Only if only.
Yeah, this seed has had some nightmarish encounters.
Some of these gauntlet rooms not as bad as normal.
And Korik is going to use the mirror to go back, and just ends up being slower for him. Oh, look at this. It's a bunch of... It's booze?
That sure looked like a Linmolus Boo. Land Boo?
Boomolas? Lanmubu? Boomolas? Lambulas? Whatever it is, we will see it later. Fentalis is almost done with this gauntlet. There's a few more rooms and that's just a Moldorm there.
Teledria's going through Desert Palace. Still hasn't made the way back up to Hera to check that tablet, unfortunately.
It's such a long trip for just one item. Also, we did see Cane of Berna there for Fentalis, so this does confirm by logic Ice Palace was in fact required for Laser Bridge. And another Mothula.
Quick work with a butter sword.
Mothula is just really easy if there are no spikes nearby.
Yeah.
Haiku enters Ganon's tower. But Fentalis is almost at Aga 2. Korik picks up the P key and will take the mirror back to the entrance. And yeah, that is Link's head on Aghanim.
Frightening.
Clearly, this is some weird alternate timeline that we're watching right now. Korik, half a heart, has a blue potion, will use it. And for Fentalis, there is only one thing that remains.
Yeah. What is going on with the Ganon sprite? Is it headless?
Is he spinning his head?
Sure looks like it.
Yeah, that's I don't recommend spinning your own head. Of course, Fentalis has Butter Sword, Silver Arrows. About as straightforward as you can get. Galadrius is killing the pug. And just a few more shots for Fentalis to pick up that kill onto Ganon.
Excellently done, Ganon fight.
And Fentalis finishes here as our first player on the restream. But not only that, he also finishes in first place in this race at 1 hour 55 minutes 5 seconds. See that in the end boiled down to a hammer in Thieves Town. And that annoying ether down at Hobo, forcing you to go up and then back down and then go back up again to Death Mountain.
Caligis gonna find the mirror here, though. That might send him on a wild goose chase to check K45 and other locations. Although it does make checking the ether tablet up there much more quick.
That is indeed true, and we are now joined by the winner of this race, Fantalis. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you.
So, what did you think about this seed?
Man. It's a good question, I guess. I avoided Thieves Town for so long, specifically because I wanted the hammer before I went in there. I mean, I even did the water walk over to the right side of... I wanted that... I don't know. Anytime the hammer shows up, specifically there in Blind's chest, it's the worst for me. It's like if Bo is vanilla. I can't deal with it.
Well, it was quite the goose chase for the hammer for a lot of you. You and I believe Caladrius and I think it was Haiku as well, you all went to the Thieves Town at about the same time for that hammer. Korek, I believe, had that hammer a few minutes before all of you.
Well, it's even worse because I believe, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, all 4 items were in the back. Like the front of Thieves Town just had the map, compass, small key, big key. So you're guaranteed to have something in the big chest, which is why I left. I was like, there's a million other things to do here, and I just don't want to deal with this right now.
So I have to ask, what was your favorite boss sprite?
Well, the one that's on screen for me right now. Going a little... I love the credits of this where everything's a little bit messed up. Let me... that's a good question, actually. I think the Argus sprite gave me pause. The Link with a bunch of shields floating around him. That really screwed me up. The other one was Armos. Not Armos Knights. Helmasaur King. Because I didn't even know what that was at first. I was trying to figure out, like, what on earth is this thing? It took me a minute to realize, oh, well, I can take this out with bombs and then use the silver arrows. Yeah, but before then, I was looking at it, trying to figure out, like, what is this thing? I can't... This doesn't look like anything I recognize.
It was definitely a bit of a troll for a boss sprite.
Yeah, no, I couldn't figure it out. I also really enjoyed the 2 different versions of Kirby encased in ice.
So many Kirbys. We would have taken more Kirbys instead of the instead of that Helmasaur, because that was frightening.
Yeah. You know, the other thing is the ice rod came just sort of for free. That was in Hookshot Cave? Something. Yeah, it sort of came for free, and unless there's a Trinex at the end of Ice Palace or Trinex on ice down in the basement of Ganon's Tower, I don't know if there is one. I just didn't see it at all.
Yeah, we don't know what's in ice, and we don't know what that Ganon's Tower basement has for us.
We will probably never know.
No, unfortunately. We'll never know what's in the basement there. But Ice Palace, I kind of, you know, could have got wrecked there if things went worse. I guess that could apply to anything. But
This was also a seed that gave you a lot of early game tools. Bow, gloves, rods, lamp, cane, moon pearl, hookshot. There was a lot of stuff in the early game. How did that affect your early game decision making?
I made a lot of mistakes of going into places before I really should have. And it was partly, you know, like going to the back of desert without a weapon. I figured, yeah, I've got bombs and I've got silver arrows, and that pretty much covers all the bosses. Except for the one that was back there.
And we did just have correct finish in second place, both on Restream and in the race itself, with a time of 2 hours and 29 seconds.
Yeah, that was surprising. I thought I double dipped too many things to be really that far ahead. And my routing was kind of all over the place, especially with the hammer hunt. But I don't know, I guess it worked out in the end.
I believe you fake flippered to Hobo.
Yes, and that made me so mad when I got back to Hobo. It was the first time I died, and honestly, I wouldn't have died if I had, rather than store the water walk, if I had just used that water walk and used it to run past the thief that was there. But instead, I stored the water walk, and it wound up being completely useless because there was not really anything important on Zora Ledge.
Yeah, Sora. The entire Sora area didn't have anything except for one of the 2 mail upgrades, the other one being from the Green Pendant.
Yeah. Boy, if I could do it all again, you know?
Indeed. And we have our second place finisher here. Correct. Good game. How was it for you?
I mean, the Enemizer part was okay, except for the stupid thieves, but man, that, like, nothing I did for the normal routing worked out for, like, the entire seed, so that was a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah,
Let's
those
see that-
thieves ended up in all the worst places.
Yeah, there were thieves just all over the place. It felt like every place that tends to have a Lionel had a thief instead.
Yeah, they were definitely everywhere. I don't know. That Fire Rod really threw me for a loop. I thought there would be something important behind Fire Rod early, but it just turned out it was Bombos almost towards the end of the game. And I guess, technically speaking, I needed the cape for Laser Bridge, but, you know.
Yeah, that cape in Ice Palace.
So what was your favorite boss sprite?
There were a handful of new ones here. The Argus was pretty good, I think. I don't know if I've seen the one with the mirror shields before.
Yeah, that one threw us for a loop at first because all we saw were mirrors. So many mirrors.
Yeah, every time any of those sprites change, it's a real, like, you get into the boss room and immediately you got to think to yourself, okay, what is this like? What am I supposed to be doing here? Which is why that Helmasaur King messed me up so much. So it's like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Alrighty, we just had Haikyuu Type finish in third place, both in race and on restream at 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 26 seconds. We should have him up in the room in a moment. And right behind him, Akthebacher, who was not restreamed, finished in fourth at 2:05. Hey, GG, Haikyuu.
Thanks, I guess.
So any general thoughts on the seed?
Well, you're never going to do too well when you last location the mirror. So, I mean, I guess I didn't die unintentionally ever. I don't think. I don't remember. But I just did everything wrong. When I went back to Thieves, it almost had to be the hammer or mirror. So, just unlucky route, seems like.
It's funny because about 3 of you went into Thieves Town actually got the hammer all about the same time.
Okay, well, I mean, that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's not somewhere you want to go, and you knew that with 0 items in the front, that it had to be an item in the hammerlock chest, so you knew you'd be orphaning it if you went back without it.
Was definitely an interesting seed for item replacement. Ask the other 2, what was your favorite boss fight for this one?
Well, I was happy to clutch out Helmosaur with just 5 bombs because the bombs can bounce off his mask and you miss the hit, so I had to be a little careful, so that was nice. Other than that, nothing really notable about any of the bosses.
The Helmosaur definitely, I think, threw all of you for a loop.
Especially
Well, I mean,
considering it wasn't even required.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy to succeed. I wouldn't say it threw me for a loop. I just had to be careful and was happy to get it done.
I went to Eastern early and I just never went back. So it's good to know the Helmosaur was there. That room on the way for the small key just wrecked me with that thief. I had probably 6 hearts or something.
Yeah, I went back really late. I didn't want to do... I forget why. I didn't want to do pendant dungeons when I had good stuff to do. So...
The thing with Eastern, the boss may not have been required, but that book was required to get the flippers on the Ether tablet so you could go to Hobo to get the medallion for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I was happy to have fake flippered to Ether at some point. Didn't wait for the flippers. I fake flippered too late. I felt like I bet a lot of people had a mail upgrade a lot earlier. So, I mean, did most people have trouble with the mirror?
It was my go mode.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and it felt even worse when I had very carefully set up to fake powder and then deliberately avoided it the entire seed just because it was a location I didn't want to go to for just one spot.
Yeah, I had Armos Knights for the green pendant and Hera Basement left besides where the mirror ended up.
Yeah, with the green pendant and hair basement, it was, well, this feels really bad, but okay, it's a mail upgrade, that's fine. And then hair basement was a sword for gold sword, so that's fine, but...
Yeah, it was basically orphan for me in the entire east or western area of the map. It was like, all right, well, you can go start dipping crystal dungeons, or you can go check out this one neat thing over here in the middle of nowhere.
Now, I was really surprised that no one was done when I was in Swamp getting my last crystal. I almost did metagaming and do the tile room.
And of course, you never want to have to do the tile room.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I was just hoping the big key was there because it seemed like somebody should have been done long before me.
Oh, well, that's fair. Interestingly enough, the mirror was not Caladrius's go mode item. He actually went to bat before he went back up the mountain to check the tablet because he did not have the book when he went to Hera. So.
All right. Well, it's hard for me to sort of unwind how his seed must have went given that. But the nice thing about getting the mirror for go mode is you're guaranteed to be go moding swamp and skipping a bunch of one-off overworld. So
Yeah.
You can also say that Walther the Fourth is finished in 5th place, off stream at 2 hours 6 minutes and 53 seconds. So far, these are right now our 6th finished player here as well. That one being AK Driss at 6th place with 2 hours 12 seconds. 12 minutes, I should say. 2 hours 12 minutes 10 seconds. I blame the Kirby's, as I believe we've done this entire seed, right, Spy Poet?
It sure feels like it. Kirby's and Thieves.
Kirby's and Thieves.
Yeah, it felt like halfway, and anytime you were halfway to doing something smart or clever, or like actually having halfway decently smooth execution on anything, a thief would just appear out of nowhere. Nope.
yeah,
Also
I ended up
fast guards.
skipping. I skipped the initial Lost Woods check. I went straight to town with a fish because the route up there was bracketed by 2 thieves.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, 3 of you decided to go with the fish strat, and all of you started in Sank, and went to Kakariko with 3 of you taking the fish.
Well, there was just no money for so long. Like, it took me so long just to get the bottle guy in town. There's just no money.
And one of you backtracked for the bow, I think?
Well, what I did is I had 90 rupees coming out of the well, so I did one more loop through the well to get 100 for the bottle vendor. And I went back, I forget what the flute was, but I went back fairly early for the bow.
The flute was in Link's house.
Oh yeah, that felt terrible. I was sure everyone else was going to have that before going to town.
Which wasn't the case because everyone started in Sanctuary.
No, I hate starting in Link's house in Enemizer. It's like, it's, you're gonna have a bad time, and it's gonna start the whole thing off on the wrong foot. It's like you're gonna get destroyed by something on your way up to Uncle.
So Caladrius just gave us our look at what was in the ice armor's room. It was blind before noping out with the mirror.
Yeah, there are several bosses that are made very unpleasant with the ice floor, like Vitreous and Blind.
Yeah, especially if he ends up with a high shuffle damage blind down there on the ice, can be a real nightmare.
And that means the only boss fight we did not see was whatever was down in Ice Palace today. We did have a couple of more finishers. Data Plat finished in 7th at 2 hours, 13 minutes, 33 seconds. DKS 89 in 8th at 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 37 seconds.
Oh no, you
after-
don't, Fantalis. I'm gonna get there first.
I do continue.
I gotta know.
We've got a P-Train just finished in 9th at 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 42 seconds. Well, we've got 2 of our restreamers going down to go see what was down there at Cold Stare.
So if you play a seed like this, do you look forward to playing Enemizer again?
This was not really a bad.
Yeah, I mean, I like Enemizer quite a bit. The Unkillable Thieves is like not usually something that people that play a lot of Enemizer have. So normally I have no problem playing, even with like the chaos damage and things like that.
Since apparently we will get to see what's down there in Ice Palace. Can we have any predictions?
More Kirby?
Vanilla Kirby. That's an interesting sentence. I mean, I wouldn't mind to see some more Kirbys.
I just want to know if it actually is. Oh, come on. What is it? Trinex. Because otherwise, it's just not in the game.
I mean, you got both the rods pretty early, so it makes sense that there is no Trinex. Or Iceland was relatively early in Hookshot Cave, since the myths were the item for Dark World, conveniently found up on East Death Mountain. Collider is here, finishing off the Mothula, who's shooting thinking faces, and what in the world is that?
Oh look, Trinex.
I guess there's your chain chomp.
There's my chain chomp.
Knew it.
that's a thing. Rest in peace. Meanwhile, we do have Colliders here on the Aga 2 fight, deciding to use the bug net. And now with all 3 pendants, you can go pull the pedestal for those 3 bombs. And Colliders has finished Aga 2, and that leaves the one final fight against Ganon, who apparently was spinning his own head.
This would have been an appropriate seed for a Halloween rando.
I like the way you think.
I like that Ice Palace gave one last opportunity to get completely destroyed by thieves.
All right. Well, I need to duck out. So thank you guys for the commentary, and thanks for the race, everybody. Good games.
Yeah, same here. But thanks everybody for the commentary, and catch you guys later.
I didn't even.
Thank you for playing. And Colliders is just a few silver arrow shots away from finishing off the seed. That's Headless Horseman Ganon. I think only need one more shot to be finished off.
I believe you are correct. Yep, there it is. We'll have a fish ton just here in a moment. And Calidris finishing last here of our restreamers in 10th place at 2 hours, 24 minutes.
Hello.
Hey, good game.
Hello.
GG's. Interesting seed. First time Enemizer for me, so a lot of unexpected things happened.
Do you have any general comments on this seed?
Well, I never realized how much I hated thieves.
Yeah, that seems to be a reoccurring theme here.
I figured. And I never knew how afraid I was of them until one ran after me at full speed over water.
That's a frightening thought. I mean, for first time Enemizer, that was excellently ran.
Just a lot of deaths at the beginning because, of course, no hearts. But in the end, yeah. Pretty fun seed though.
No hearts, no armor, no shield, thieves everywhere.
No sword.
Yeah.
I have to
Sorry.
say, the random enemies threw me off balance a couple of times, made me mess up my routing.
I presume you're looking forward to your next Enemizer?
Oh, of course. Oh, this is fun. It's some variation on the regular standard open key sanity races. It's pretty nice.
Now you have me thinking of Enemizer Key Sanity. That's
God.
horrible.
Oh god. I love the reimagined boss sprites. I've never seen those before.
You have a favorite one of the ones you saw?
Well, I liked how at the Swamp Palace I killed Link as Argus with the random sprite.
Yeah. Lots of Kirby today for
Oh
you
yeah.
guys.
It was my first boss. I went down like, what is Kirby doing in ice?
He
So,
was cloning himself inside of it.
frightening.
Ew.
Well, I do believe that it is time for us here to wrap things up. We'd like to thank all of our runners today we've had on the restream. Fentalis, Korek, Hycotype, and Caldrius. Also thank you to our trackers today, Sindoras and Leave18 for helping out behind the scenes. And of course, later today at 9 PM EST on Speed Gaming 4, we will have another race, which will be an entrance cross-world key sanity race. So be sure to check that out. And also make sure to follow all of our Twitch channels at Speed Gaming 1 through 6 and ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 5. And with that said, I've been Marjevich,
This is Spy Poet.
and we hope to see you all in the not too distant future.